Have you ever stopped to think about how we make sense of the millions upon millions of animal species on our planet? I mean, from a sponge that barely moves to a blue whale, there's got to be a system, right? Well, today, we're diving into the biggest, most basic split in the entire animal kingdom.
Okay, this sounds like the setup for a really strange joke, doesn't it? A jellyfish, a butterfly, and you. What's the connection? Well, the answer gets right to the heart of how we classify all life. They are, of course, animals, but it's the differences between them that really show us the huge divide we're gonna explore.
And here it is, the big one. The most fundamental split in the whole animal kingdom really just comes down to one simple question. Does it have a backbone? That's it. On one side, you have the invertebrates. They don't have one. And on the other, you've got the vertebrates. They do. It seems like a simple difference, but it creates two completely different worlds of life.
All right, so here's our game plan. First, we're going to really dig into this world divided. Then, we'll meet the spineless supermajority. And trust me, that name is no exaggeration. After that, we'll look at backbones and complexity, and then we'll wrap it all up by seeing how these two worlds are connected in the interplay of life.
I want you to picture a gigantic family tree for all animals. Right at the base, that main trunk splits into two massive branches, and those are the two fundamental groups that every single animal you can think of belongs to. So let's get our terms straight.
First up, we've got the invertebrates. And really, the definition is all about what they don't have. No vertebral column, no backbone. Simple as that. But don't let that simple definition fool you. This group is anything but simple. They're the silent, swarming majority of the animal world.
And on that other branch, of course, are the vertebrates. Their key feature, that backbone, it's so much more than just a support rod. The crucial part is that it protects the spinal cord. You know, the information superhighway of the nervous system. This one design feature opens up a whole new world of possibilities for size and complexity.
Okay, so we're starting with the invertebrates, and there's a really good reason why. While we vertebrates tend to get all the attention, you know, lions, eagles, whales, the invertebrates are the real rulers of this planet, at least when you're talking about sheer numbers and variety.
Just look at that number, over 95%. Let that sink in for a second. More than 95% of all known animal species on Earth don't have a backbone. To put that into perspective, scientists figured that for every one of us, every single human, there are something like 200 million insects out there. This isn't just a majority, it's an absolute landslide. They're literally everywhere.
So if over 95% of animals are invertebrates, who's the biggest player in that massive club? Well, that would be a phylum, which is just a fancy word for a major group called Arthropoda. If you've ever seen a bug, a spider, or a lobster, you've met an arthropod.
And the secret to their wild success? It's this thing, the exoskeleton. Exo literally just means outside, so it's an outside skeleton. You can think of it like a custom-fitted suit of armor that gives them protection and a solid structure for their muscles to attach to.
And that body plan has been unbelievably successful. That external skeleton allowed arthropods to conquer pretty much every habitat. You see it everywhere, in insects like butterflies, in arachnids like spiders, in crustaceans like crabs, and in myriads like centipedes. They are thriving just about everywhere you can imagine.
But hey, the invertebrate world is so much bigger than just the arthropods. There are other huge groups too, like the soft-bodied mollusks, we're talking snails, clams, and even octopuses, and the cnidarians, which includes jellyfish and corals, famous for those stinging cells.
And this is really just scratching the surface of the incredible variety out there. You've got everything from super intelligent octopuses to the simple beauty of a jellyfish, all the way to sponges, which are about as basic as multicellular animals get. From flatworms to spiky sea stars, the diversity is just mind-boggling.
All right, let's switch gears. Time to look at that other, much smaller branch of the family tree. Our branch. Yep, the vertebrates. We may be totally outnumbered, but our story is one of increasing structural complexity and the conquest of every major environment on the planet.
You know, this table basically tells an incredible story of adaptation. It all starts in the water with fish, perfectly built for that world with gills and fins. Then you get amphibians making that first brave step onto land, developing lungs but still needing to stay near water. Reptiles come next, and they truly break away from the water with scaly skin. From there, you see birds evolve feathers to master the skies, and finally, mammals with hair and warm blood, which let them live just about anywhere, from the frozen Arctic to the hottest desert.
And you know, one of the biggest game changers for conquering land was this amazing invention, the amniotic egg. The best way to think about it is like a personal, portable pond for a growing embryo. By packing all the necessary water and food inside a protective shell, animals like reptiles and birds were finally free. They didn't have to go back to the water to have babies anymore. This was their ticket to colonize the whole planet.
And this long evolutionary road eventually leads to us, to the mammals. And within that group, you've got the primates, and that's our spot on the family tree. It's in this group that we start to see the most complex nervous systems and the most advanced minds in the entire animal kingdom.
So, we've spent all this time talking about these two groups as if they're totally separate. But for this last part, we're going to bring them back together. Because in the real world, in nature, nothing exists in a vacuum. The spineless majority and the backbone minority are locked together in a complex, beautiful dance.
And you see this connection absolutely everywhere. Birds eat insects. Fish eat tiny crustaceans. Bears go after honey. I mean, invertebrates are a gigantic food source for vertebrates. And going the other way, all those predators help keep the invertebrate populations from exploding. It's this delicate give and take. And together, they weave these incredibly intricate food webs that keep our ecosystems running.
And that's really what it's all about, isn't it? When you step back and look at both of these massive groups, the invertebrates and the vertebrates, you just have to be filled with a sense of wonder. As the source material so perfectly puts it, these animals remind us of the incredible power of evolution and the boundless diversity of life. It's just an amazing testament to life's ability to find a way, whether it has a backbone or not.
So, as we wrap up, I'll just leave you with this to chew on. We've looked at the two great strategies for animal life, the endless farms of the invertebrates and the complex adaptations of the vertebrates. So the question is, from the tiniest insect to the biggest whale, which branch of this incredible family tree really sparks your curiosity?